Dataiku Delights. Dataiku Delights.
I'd like to show you today a cool feature inside of Dataiku that I have not seen in other data preparation tools, and that is editable datasets. And here's why I think they're useful. See, I often find myself needing to add some kind of metadata on top of the things that are already available in database tables. I've got some dimensional field, some set of values that either I need to group together at a higher level, or I just need to rewrite the names for some reason. And I find it easier to create a spreadsheet that's got the raw values and then either the grouped or translated values in some kind of familiar spreadsheet kind of interface like Excel. So what we end up doing is we'll create that spreadsheet and we'll type in all the dimensional strings and the grouped strings or the renamed stuff, and then create a process that takes that spreadsheet from some kind of cloud accessible place and sticks that into the database on a scheduled process. Well, inside of Dataiku, I have another option, another way of going about doing that. So that's what I'd like to show you today. Inside of my project, I've already navigated over to the datasets page. And if I click on new dataset, I have this option to make an editable dataset. So I'm going to do that. And there are a few different ways that I can start off. I can either start from scratch with an empty data set, or I can start from something that's a data set already involved in Dataiku, or I can just start from a file. In this case, I have an Excel spreadsheet that I want to import. I'm going to grab that from another screen over here and just drop that in. And here I'm pulling in a KPI glossary that I've talked about on other podcast episodes, which we'll link to in the show description. Now I'm going to go ahead and preview this to see if it's going to interpret everything properly. It says there's missing format type, and I'm not really sure what might be the problem there. First, I can check the schema to see if it's detected anything that looks wrong to me. Or I could just go ahead and say, well, let's create this data set and investigate from there. Right off the bat, it shows that this denominator field, I've got some red because the first few values are just the number 1. That looks like an integer, and it's not really an integer. I want that to be interpreted as a string. So I can change that right here and just say this is actually a text value. Now over here, where I'm trying to link out to dashboards that are sort of drill downs from a particular KPI, it shows that a couple of these don't really match the normal URL pattern. And in looking at this, it's because there's not a double slash after that HTTP. So I need to edit that, right? I've got to fix that problem. And again, rather than fixing that problem in my Excel spreadsheet in some other system and coming out of this flow in order to just change that typo, all I have to do now is click on Edit, and I'll scroll over to those URLs that are a problem, add that extra slash in that one, and then this one. And that's it, right? So I'll click Save. And now what I have, when I go back to my flow, I've got that inline data set that I can now join to anything that I want to inside of Dataiku. It might be a database source, it might be an API source or a Python notebook, what have you. I can edit that data set, add KPIs, add values, change the grouping, rewrite the description, fix typos, so on and so forth, without having to go somewhere outside of this tool, somewhere outside of my workflow. And I just find that solution delightful.
Dataiku Delights. Dataiku Delights.